Okay, welcome back. We're talking about looking at the low-hanging fruit. We're talking about some things that Anambra State is doing, making sure that the low-income earners have ready capital to run with.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is power. I mean, the barber who has a shop, he doesn't have, he needs to run generator practically 24/7 to be able to generate even money for a day. So even though you've knocked off the state charges, what happens to...
That is the challenge of Nigeria. I mean, Chief just talked about paradox. Tosin talked about numbers, 1.3 trillion, 1.2 trillion for infrastructure. You know, it sounds so hazy. Would you imagine a state like Anambra, where the national grid gives us about 10% of our needs? 10%. And these are persons who are hands-on. So infrastructure, spending 1.3 billion, and there's no corresponding, if you like, effect in our infrastructure, say power or roads. The roads in the southeast are disgraceful. The roads, the state roads are good in Anambra State. Successive administrations prioritize road, and we are proud of it. But the federal roads are terrible. Nobody has fixed that road in 10, 20 years. So where are these numbers going to? This 1.3 billion, has not affected power, has not affected roads.
Salaries, it's affecting salaries.
So it's basically going to debt servicing. What has happened in the past 10 years in Nigeria? Basically, huge oil proceeds. And we went off the FX debt burden. But we quadrupled the Naira debt burden. And nobody was watching. So while we're no longer owing the Paris Club and the London Club, and nobody was happy, we're piling up debts at home. Meanwhile, we're monetizing huge foreign exchange earnings on one side and borrowing domestically. So 40% of this expenses talked about is actually spent on debt servicing. And yet we're still owing many contractors. By and large, I think the chickens have come home to roost. In Anambra, what we opted was that the greatest good of the greater number of persons, we need to stimulate our economy, insulate it if we can. Because our people are merchants. They buy and sell. They cannot access foreign exchange anymore at the kind of rates available, so they can't import. They don't go to China anymore. The effect on the intermarket and all our markets is affecting the cash flow across the state. We have to we have to shoulder that shock. And what have we done? We're putting money into agriculture, 300 million for our cassava and our cassava project, rice farming, and then we're putting a lot of money into our vegetable production. We have changed a few paradigms in Anambra.
Okay. Mr. Dagmaro.
We export Ogo, export vegetables. Not the government of Anambra State, but individuals. And you see the joy, market women selling the entire basket of vegetables on the market day for ready cash.
Okay.
Mr. Dagmaro, if I may just ask him this. That is homegrown.
Go ahead.
He's getting the market woman to sell off her basket of Ugo.
Right.
But we're talking about, now the suggestion is sell off some assets. Nobody has mentioned the assets.
Right.
What assets would we be looking at to sell? I mean, history points out some governments had sold assets in the past. I mean, the UK, when they were in recession or depression during Margaret Thatcher, sold off a couple of assets and invested the money in assets that were more productive to show up whatever it is they're doing.
Reinvestment.
Yes. The US, during George Bush, sold some assets. I mean, when Obama came, they sold some assets to be able to generate revenue and plow back in. The Anambra State, he's given the example of Anambra State that is looking at the artisans, the low-income earners. Let's give them ready cash to spend to stimulate the economy. So what should we be looking at nationally? Do we have assets that we can sell to invest in other assets, or are we still looking at infrastructure? Because I wrote down here, debt servicing, salaries versus infrastructure. How can all of that come into the mix to get us out of this?
That's just to tell us the state of our nation.
1 second. We have a call from the UK. Dominic, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. I just thank you people for this program you are bringing this time. You see, there is something that is happening. It shows that these people who have gotten money in Nigeria have no single mercy for any single Nigerian. People are laughing them from here when they hear that they want to sell their own property. This is totally wrong. Let me start from the Dangote, who have just brought this idea that they should be selling our property. I want to let you know what is going to be the negative effect. It is ventured that Niger Delta will spark again. Buhari will be able to manage this asset. That is the way we look at it. The president we have now should be able to manage the asset. Having said that, there's a way this thing has to be done. Let Dangote borrow us 12.something billion. I think we'll be able to live from there. The reason why I tell you so is that they have given a lot of waiver for this particular man in question. All the goods that he has imported into that country, he has never wanted to pay one single item. He started this from Edo State. He destroyed Opela cement factory, and he went further to Ewekoro. Another, what do you call them? This Ogun State. This same man doesn't pay anything. In Europe, where we are here, like somebody like Richard Branson, let me give, because I'm trying to juxtapose them. This same man, Richard Branson, when they are bidding for a contract here, in as much as I am an ordinary citizen in UK, I follow the contract. I know where they are going to. I know whether he is eligible to that contract or not. There's something we need to do quickly to enable us to recover from this. One, we have 1.9 billion, according the president, that the Western world has not paid in terms of tax. As I'm here, I'm paying tax every day. If I don't pay, they will lock me up. So how come now these people now move back to Nigeria? They are owing us such money, and we are languishing. Let Buhari stand up. Let every one of us go to the United Nations to report them. Even if it's their own office, let them know that they are marketing us. 1.9 billion. These guys are not paying tax. If you don't pay tax in UK, they are in prison.
All right. Thank you very much, Dominic.
Number two. One more thing. I want Buhari to look into Texas. Texas May, all you need to do is to go to House of Assembly and legislate that all Nigerians should be wearing native. Why do I say so? In London here, they don't allow me to wear like that gentleman who is sitting down there wearing native. They always compare me to wear English wear to the opposite. If we make all Nigerians to be wearing native, you see the catalytic effect is going to give. Why do I say so? All the how do you describe them? This small scale industry that will make them to move on. You now begin to see people having small businesses, which will make the country to grow. There are so many of them like this. Then you can still go to Ajakuta. When you go to Ajakuta, put in money there. That can play about.
All right, thank you.
People.
Thank you very much, Dominic. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Dagunro, he's talked about contract bidding. We mentioned that earlier, transparency. Exactly. He talked about contract bidding and